Well, we don't have any confirmed deaths yet. They didn't see it out of their
Not yet.
As soon as they talk about a pandemic, Whitey's, oh God, yes, let's buy guns.
There is no camera. We got them, folks. We got them, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We got it.
Oh, you're recording too. Oh, this dude's gonna get me caught up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Killing Fields. This is episode 2 of the podcast.
Is that really the name of the show?
No.
I'm down.
Killing Fields.
Holy
You got Pol Pot in here.
But you know what, though? I'm kind of down.
Until anyone actually gives me a name for the podcast,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going. Like y'all want to see me be a dictator? I'll just go on until someone gets.
The killing ones.
The Killing Fields.
Well, welcome to the on today's episode of the Politburo. We're going to have
Oh, Jesus.
I like it.
Episode 2 of Chapo Trap House.
no, please. There have never been this many people of color on Chapo Trap House.
Oh, I don't know anything about it. So we're back. We're talking
incredibly
politics
white.
again.
Well, this is a random question. What's the name of the pizza place that was like part of Pizzagate?
Comet Pizza.
Comet Pizza.
Welcome back to Comet Pizza.
I guess.
This is like Trader Joe's has a podcast inside Trader Joe's. You should do Inside Comet Pizza.
They do? Oh, it's like Comet Pizza be a hard ass name. That's kind of fresh. I'm not gonna lie.
Cock a shotgun.
We gotta use that Toy Story picture, like the pizza, the rocket
yeah.
pizza. Use that as our logo.
That go kind of hard.
I mean, you
though.
are sponsored by Disney now. So
Stop giving out free ideas. This podcast. This podcast.
Should we start at 5 now?
No, we're going in.
He is lying. Charlamagne,
Bam, you don't understand.
we're rolling with
There's
Comet Pizza.
there's stuff that I was using before 3 minutes that might make it in the podcast.
Hey, man.
So
Bam, that's the danger of Dictator Dan. When he clicks record, everything's fair game.
GG.
But no, really,
Everything's fair game.
should we really start at 5 now?
no. So the first thing that he's so worried. It's so
No,
funny.
I'm not. I'm just like, it's so bad right now.
No, it's great.
great.
This
All
is
right.
fully good. So,
content.
this is a podcast that we do politically every once in a while when we're so inclined. And the last time we left off, we were talking about the New Hampshire kind of primary and what happened since then. And since then,
Caesar was not there.
yeah,
Thank God.
yeah, no, that was a very mild one compared to episode 0.
Back now.
Episode 0, which was so bad we didn't publish it.
Thank you.
Thank God.
I don't doubt that.
It'll be a lost
So
episode.
this is my debut right now.
I'm not going to say
kinda.
anything that needs to be bleeped out this time.
I can't promise that. For sure, Sean's going to get bleeped out 8 times.
That's a great goal.
Sean's insane.
It's going to be a great time editing this.
You
folks.
never know what's gonna come out of my mouth.
Since we last left off, we talked about the New Hampshire primary, and we made some predictions there. I don't remember them. I don't care. It doesn't matter. So we're just going to move straight past that.
assume we're all
Basically, all you need to know is that Bernie won New Hampshire kind of predictably, and then there's Nevada where Bernie kind of killed it.
Killed it, definitely.
Yeah, and then South Carolina where Bernie got killed.
He did get killed.
He did.
Yeah, name it
KILT.
Killed.
KILT.
Yeah.
Scottish style. It was really bad. But Joe Biden had a strong suit with African American supporters who remember him as Barack Obama's white friend.
Oh yeah, that's
First
known as that guy was
The first
with
white
Obama.
president. Yeah.
I got the delegate count here, too.
Ooh, okay.
Great. So we'll get to Super
Yeah.
Tuesday, and then we'll get to the
vote.
delegate count, because
Damn, Tulsi.
we're recording this right after.
Just bleep that out.
Shout out America Samoa.
Howdy Modi. So we're gonna talk later about some of the other candidates, what happened, but that brings us to South Carolina primary, where Joe Biden finally caught a break in the first time he had run in 30 years in all of his political campaigns. Right.
The first time he ever won a state. And
Yeah, in a presidential nomination, yeah.
Yeah.
the
He's
first
ran
time-
3 times.
He's ran 3 times. He plagiarized a couple times in the 80s. Deadass.
Hey, who didn't in the 80s?
Hey, you want to know how
Right?
progressive Joe Biden is? He is copied from white politicians and black politicians.
I can respect the
Gotten
diversity.
arrested with black politicians.
And Joe Biden is so diverse. He is made up getting arrested with white politicians and black politicians.
Yeah.
He also forgot that he made up.
He doesn't discriminate.
This episode is not sponsored for Biden 2020.
This episode is sponsored by Metamucil, including Joe Biden's listening. But no, so like South Carolina was an interesting turn of things because it seemed like, okay, anyone who wanted to say that Joe Biden was viable finally had an opportunity to say that and make that argument in a way that didn't make sense. It was only one state, but it was one important state. And it was a pretty bad loss, to be fair.
For Bernie.
Yeah. And it was also a bad loss for Amy Klobuchar, who hadn't won anything. It was a bad loss for Pete
Stapler
Buttigieg.
Amy.
Well, they both dropped out. After
Buttigieg dropped out. I was also going to make the point that it was a bad night at that point for Elizabeth Warren, but nevertheless she persisted. And so Klobuchar and Buttigieg drop out, and they meet up with Beto O'Rourke from Texas, and they get together and do a rally for
with Betito.
Yeah, Betito.
No soy Beto.
No, never mind.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Dan.
First bleep incoming. And it's the bleeper himself.
No, so
we should have a ticker for the amount of times we get bleeps. Who has the most bleeps?
That would be a great like interactive betting thing where people watching could be like
over under on Caesar getting 5 bleeps.
Exactly.
They have like 538 markets and graphs and shit.
Great.
No, but like it got to that point where they all got together and did like a super endorsement of Joe Biden on stage. Pete Buttigieg got out his Texan accent that he had during the entire campaign, not trying to pander at all.
That was beautiful.
And
apparently he speaks Norwegian.
Well rehearsed.
Yeah, at least he knew how to say barbecue in Texan.
Yes,
but like
he also did a little Spanish too.
Yeah,
he speaks Spanish.
He got all those endorsements.
It was gusto food.
It was televised in Texas and everywhere. And then Super Tuesday, Biden holds the South, which is typical of Joe Biden. And Bernie held his own in he didn't win Texas, but he came in a close second. And then in the West, in Colorado, Utah, California, he did really well. Shout out American Samoa for giving Bloomberg and Tulsi Gabbard love.
Lord knows why, but that was a long flight. They didn't want to go there.
I guess it's a home game.
Oh, and then Bloomberg dropped out.
Bloomberg dropped out after Super Tuesday because it was it was clear after Super Tuesday that like
he was gonna make a comeback.
No, it was clear.
You spent $700 million because you're bored, and it's like let me run for president real quick.
He spent enough to give each American $1 million.
Yeah, and still have money left over just from his advertising.
Just to get 13%. Like, how does that feel, man? What an asshole.
I think he feels great, honestly.
Honestly,
he probably feels great.
He's still like the 50.
Because he's like nothing's changed about.
He has a name out there now. He has a name for sure.
He's cloud chasing hard, and it worked for him.
Yeah, materially speaking, nothing about his life changes. Except more people know his name.
Exactly, which is going to get him more places on TV and stuff like that. Absolutely.
Everybody should have.
He should have ran on UBI.
No, it's kind of bad. Like Bloomberg, like missed the opportunity to really
Yang and Bloomberg combo.
he missed the opportunity to like really big dick Andrew Yang and just be like, I'm gonna give every American $1 million.
That'd be the biggest stunt flex ever, and I would be like, this is the best debate I ever watched. He's like, I'm gonna give every American $1,000. I'm gonna give them $1 million.
Yeah.
Watch me.
2 million? 2 million? 2 million? 2 million? Is Gates here? 3 million?
Anderson Cooper with a Texas 10-gallon hat going, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, another 6 trillion.
Sold to Bloomy.
I mean, like, if I actually wish our debates actually worked like that because they would more accurately reflect our political system. It is an auction.
What's going on now is fake.
What's the final delegate count? Bam Kornacki at the stats desk.
Yes. Come on, Jamie. Let's see the stats, Jamie.
Uncomfortable. Biden at 624, Sanders 556.
Okay. The California is still like allocated delegates because they take like 5 years.
We only have like 300 million
From what
people.
I heard, that it takes like a month actually.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why is because California makes voting actually accessible, which I think a topic we'll get to in a certain point is how do you get more people to vote. But like they make it so you can vote 2 weeks before the election. You can kind of vote 3 days after the election.
They give those ballots like way early in advance too. You can them whenever you want.
People throw them away apparently, but
you can drop the ballots at the polling place, which is the Bamanized like extreme galaxy brain way of voting.
And what people don't know is even before voting opens, you can actually drop it in any government facility. Like they're supposed to be like responsible for turning that in when they have ballots open.
Yeah, correct. So California makes it like dumbass easy to vote.
We got,
but people still wait in line for hours. I'm just like, what are you doing?
People El Dorado West out on the pond standing there next to the Zelix.
It really bugs me.
Like, y'all don't want to just drop it off?
It made me sad to see all these people of color looking miserable in line.
I was right here. I just walked by a whole line of people. What are they getting? IDs? What's going on here? Jeez, DMV out
here. Give California 2 more years and it will be IDs. Yes,
it'll be. But maybe some of the people were registering at like during the same time, which you can do. You can same day register.
That's a lot.
But that's better than nothing. You know?
Yeah, true. If they're registering, that's actually what we need. But they could just do it like online, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Anyways,
fun.
So we're at this point now where Warren then decides to. So Bloomberg drops out of the race because he also realizes that he's stealing votes from Biden.
Yeah.
And otherwise, Biden would be winning more. I mean, that was like playing with danger there, buddy.
This is the third backup one.
Wow.
No fucks given.
No. To tell us what it's like to be in the 1% seas.
You have to be blonde to understand.
Well, the writing was on the wall for the fact that Bloomberg was just stealing votes from Biden's camp. If anything, Bloomberg was the best thing that could have happened to Sanders at this point.
Yeah.
But also, Warren's definitely stealing some votes there because she's not polling above 3rd or 4th. She lost Massachusetts, her home state.
Lost her home district, too.
Damn.
Yeah. It was really not.
With that?
I mean, her public opinion.
Snake in the weeds.
That there's a number of things about snakes that have made this, but
Bernie bro.
there's a
Block him, Bernie bro.
canceled.
No.
He's mean.
I would rather pay $5 billion out of pocket for healthcare than like a Bernie Bros tweet on Twitter.
Seriously. But the thing is, let's talk about that. Well, why do you think she lost her own region? Like that's pretty intense when you're running for president. It's the one place you're supposed to be guaranteed is your home.
There's a lot
the
of
home
things.
court.
Well, let me give up part of it. It's there is an aspect of sexism that goes to it that has to be admitted, especially as a podcast with a bunch of dudes on it. There is absolutely that factor.
100%.
Yeah, and there's gonna be extra applied to a candidate regardless. But given that that's one big factor, next is her.
There's a lot of flaws with it.
Right. But the next things are just ever since she ran, she went from being the champion of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which she fought against the Obama administration for. So she was
awesome.
She was seen as anti-establishment then, to DNA tests, to Medicare for all, JK, to
It was kind of weird,
I think you called me out on public television.
Oh man,
that was so weird. And at the end of the debate,
Tom Steyer
trying to talk in there while the camera mic's on. What are you doing?
Yeah,
this doesn't make us like you. This looks messy, and now everybody's gonna turn their vote somewhere else because y'all two look messy right here. Exactly. This looks messy.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people
for being a champion of the left too, then just getting further and further more to the center.
She was definitely I think out of all the candidates, she was the one that was here and had the biggest drop off. She was soaring. And
it shows you
her and Kamala too, because Kamala had such a big.
Well, she dropped out.
But she dropped out. But I'm saying those are the two.
So Warren was
a year ago where I thought
you could arguably say
they're going to be up, but they just dropped off the face of the planet.
I think 3-4 months ago you could arguably said Warren was top, number one, easily.
Well, yeah, she had a good chance. It was weird to me to see her do so bad in Iowa. I was so shocked to see Pete Buttigieg being ahead of her.
I mean, my analysis that I haven't shared a lot of places is that I think where Warren's campaign started to flounder, at least to me, was that it was media driven. In the same way that Klobuchar's rise and fall was entirely media driven, in the sense that during the no one cared about Klobuchar. She got into the debates when thresholds were super low and anyone could get into the debates.
Yeah,
and to the
just hung around
to the people who were hosting the debates, Klobuchar looked like a more serious person who could be president than Michael Bennet. Why? Not really much of a reason, but they just saw, she's from the Midwest, she's a Democrat, she's moderate, she might make sense as to the establishment class, she makes sense as a candidate more than any other milquetoast person. But in that same way that they were able to control the conversation like that, Elizabeth Warren took a lot of the fire on the how do you pay for Medicare for all question. And Warren really wasn't able to answer it really well. I mean, she was always asked the question first, especially because this was around the time when she was peaking in the polls. And they're always trying to say, Warren, how do you pay for Medicare for all? And she went through different iterations of answering it, each time getting it stronger. But it's something that Bernie Sanders didn't have to do. I think if Bernie were given that same sort of attention, again, they just the media, as they usually do, they wrote him off until it was too late. But if he was given that same kind of attention, I think Bernie would have gone through phases of having to explain the how do I pay for Medicare for all thing. And he would have he would have floundered a little bit publicly, and he would have had to craft that message. But our thinking of Bernie Sanders would be caused by that. We'd think about that.
Yeah,
thinking of it.
I think also he would have a better the biggest thing he's running on, and he would have more of a say compared to what Elizabeth Warren said. So like he would say, okay, this is how you pay for it, because I remember when she got asked that, she kind of stumbled upon the question and then would keep adding on to it and whatnot. Instead of Bannery would have like straightforward answer. Okay, I've been saying this for years. I ran on it the election before, and this is the same thing. Boom, boom, boom.
I wonder who gets bashed more in like the right wing media space between Warren and Sanders. I would imagine it was Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, I agree. Warren. Because like Pocahontas is just too easy. Like it's a thing where
it's so messed up.
It's messed up, but it's the sad thing is that two people who don't understand politics, who like only participate, they pay attention the week before and then they vote, which is how most people vote. Yeah. The most important part of the presidential election season is like October 29th. Yeah. Because that's when people actually go, oh, what the fuck? There's an election.
Yeah.
But like straight up. Like it's sad, but like that's how it works. And so to that kind of voter, that's what they know Elizabeth Warren as. Not the great stuff she did. And like that's Trump branding, that's right wing media branding, but like like the red baiting shit with like he's a socialist. Like the one good thing Pete Buttigieg said was that, look, the Republicans are going to call me a socialist. They're going to call Joe Biden a socialist. They're going to call Bernie Sanders a socialist.
Which is a bar.
They call Obama a communist.
I know. Literally. Going off your previous point about like, well, I don't even think explaining, even if Sanders was going to the position where he had to explain the Medicare for all for everybody and the healthcare, it wouldn't even work, because the thing is it's a trap question, because the minute you start explaining, Americans are done. Like it's already over. Like they're not asking you because they want to hear a correct answer. They're asking you to get you talking. That's what they want. And what's worked, especially with Trump, is just fireball stuff and like quick hits and like jokes like Pocahontas. That's what's like the clout thing is like really what works the best.
And you're 100% right on that, and that's why when watching those debates and seeing Warren answer those, she took the bait rather than reframing the question.
You said, would you like if you got asked how would you pay for Medicare? Like how do you pay for Medicare?
It's like how do we pay for our system right now?
That's exactly because you say, okay, would you rather spend more on healthcare or less on healthcare, like per person? Like that's the best. Like you have to reiterate a question back to it, so that way you get a fall out of the trap, because then Americans go, wait.
Or like how do we pay for healthcare? How do we pay for our military?
Exactly. How do you pay for the roads?
Yeah. How do you pay for the street?
How do you pay?
You
for
want me to go into the whole fabric of how America's made?
Yeah,
we can do this right now on TV.
We put the war in Iraq on the credit card.
It's a dumb question, but it's a trap question.
But it's an opportunity, and like this is honestly what the only thing the debates are actually testing this time around is how are you going to wrangle not just Trump, but how are you going to wrangle the media? Because if you don't do that, the media will have their reaction to it.
That's what I was just going to ask. I don't know if I don't want to like get off topic or whatever.
We're good.
Like kind of order you wanted to go, but I feel like one of the big things is, and this it's something I talk about often, is everything is going based off a media narrative much more so than what these people are talking about, because I think we're all seeing this. Like there's being a media narrative created about Bernie that's completely irresponsible, like, and it's not true for the most part.
What to just to be like spell out that media
just like the Bernie bro aspect, and he's divisive and like he's just he's unelectable, and how do you pay for this, and like he's a radical. Whereas, like, the media narrative around Biden is that, he's just like a good old, like, he's
safe, we trust him, he's like, he's old Joe, we know him.
It doesn't have anything to do with a record or a policy.
Exactly.
It's just relationships among the media class.
And it's just a narrative that they create that, like, people get told, and I can't even blame them for being fooled by that, because you're supposed to be able to trust these people.
No, yeah, because the society is set up to where we go. We don't have people who study politics like really fast. We don't have people who like. We don't teach politics at such a level to where like mathematics, any kind of person can conceivably learn to do it. Yeah. We kind of offload all of our political knowledge to these cable news networks. Yeah. And like until like either reading a shit ton of Chomsky or like watching this shit for so many years or whatever, you realize that these media networks have their own agendas, and they're going to say something on their own opinion, but people don't know that. What are you going to say, Sean?
I was going to say, the funny thing is, if you look at the media, of Biden, how he's ran before, if you look at the media in the 80s, they absolutely fucking destroyed him. They killed his campaign because he was about, like, the big thing was, like, the plagiarism stuff. They played things, like, the media went thing and played, like, the Labour Party speech and then played what he said. And they went, like, back and forth and were grilling him on that. And now today, you get oh, he's lovable Joe. He's cool.
That was before Bill Clinton deregulated the media.
Yeah, true. And they don't even ask about the South Africa thing. Like, exactly, they don't do anything. And I'm just like,
ask his Ukraine energy.
Like how he defended voting for the war in Iraq, and stuff about all of his previous supporting segregationists and stuff.
It would be very easy to say, hey, Biden, you supported the war and you still do.
And you still do.
And Trump, a lot of what made him popular amongst people, not even just Republicans, was that he was out there in the campaign speaking against a war that everybody thought was unpopular,
and especially
in 2016.
Against Hillary.
And using it against Hillary. And that's part of the reason that he won.
100%.
Like, you think that in an election against Trump, he's not going to use that against you. I don't even think he could comprehend that question.
No, I don't think so. That's a lot.
He'd be like, what country are we standing in right now? Am I ready for Senate? Am I ready for president?
I like how,
is this my sister or is this my wife?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
It's pretty crazy because if you're going into straight up, if you're going into like a process of debates and you're trying to use the old model of like traditional speech and debate, argumentative, all that stuff, that's out the window. That's not what works. That's not what it's not really a debate. It's not a debate that's going on. It's all about talking points. It's about what clicks,
funny,
and it's about memes and what can get you a 30-second clip
for sure.
100%.
A month later, they're finally dropping clips of when who was the Latino guy that was running for an independent, where he was like ethering Biden. Like that was like 3 weeks ago. This clip is making rounds now. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that sticks. He was murdering him. He's like, do you even know what you're saying?
Yeah,
he's like, do you even know what you're saying? He's like, he was like 2 minutes ago.
And Elizabeth Warren.
Because there was a.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, there's a point where Biden was presumed to be the front runner, and so all 15 or 20 of the candidates at the time decided just like laser focus on him.
And then Biden's brain stopped working. He just like
did they feel sorry for him, or they were just like,
okay, maybe it's like they felt sorry. They just got like, weird. It's like they became like this hush kind of thing. Like let's all just attack Warren and Sanders.
Because Biden went down in the polls,
and then Biden just kind of would stood there like smiling all weird. Then the hosts or whatever would have to be like, I have this question for Biden because he's just not in there. Like he's just not in it.
Well, I have a question for Dan and Caesar. Sean, you're out of this. I'm sure. Why do you think it is that the black electorate is so in for Biden? It's not my opinion. I have something that somebody else said that I thought was interesting. But what do you think the reason is? Don't be racist against us, dude. It's not even that far away.
I would actually say the framing of your question is racist.
It is on purpose.
No, yeah, because I don't.
Well, part of the Southern black electorate. How about that?
Sure, I think the framing in the media, which we've all like subconsciously decided are the
tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay, so like I just disagree with the framing that isn't your framing, but it comes from the media that there's a Southern black vote and they think in a certain way and they are more concerned. Like there's no monolithic voting block, but there is like a.
Are a lot of black people supporting Biden?
I think. Black.
Whoa!
Well, I think. Sure. I think older black voters are just as disengaged as older white voters.
Okay, well, you know what?
And are just more likely to go into like regular
whoever they know.
Points. Yeah, I think they're just because there were polls in South Carolina where people who were voting for Joe Biden didn't know he was against Medicare for all. And
the South Carolina and South Africa thing too. Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah.
They're not informed about.
Yeah, and like I get it. You want to know why? Because the main issues of like working class people of color, even if they're like elderly and are more likely to be retired, isn't like making sure they watch Rachel Maddow on September 25th, months before the election, when he had that one like D-Block segment about Joe Biden's whatever in South Africa. It's like, no, whatever they're doing in their lives, and they figure out the election like a couple weeks before.
None of his negatives have been portrayed on the front page of like the news outlets, and unfortunately a lot of those areas and people are still heavily relying on news like cable news is their outlet for what they're getting for information in terms of like what the politicians are doing and what the top people are. So that poll doesn't surprise me that those people didn't even know he's against Medicare for like the news just doing imagine afterwards we're like, wait a minute, what? Wait, he was the only one that wasn't?
I heard this guy saying I forgot his name. I think he was on Democracy Now! And he was talking about he was saying that like he was kind of agreeing that there were a lot of black people voting for Biden over Bernie. And he was saying that a lot of black people don't trust that what Bernie is saying. Like, they like what Bernie is saying, but they don't necessarily trust that Bernie's going to get white people on board for like sharing the wealth of this nation.
Right.
Like, it sounds hot, but they don't trust that he's going to be able to do that. Like, because historically, the white establishment is not trying to like help America, even poor whites.
But then why would you vote for Biden instead in that regard?
Because for them, what he's saying, this is his talking point. For him, he's saying like, you're gonna think like, if it's always been bullshit and you just don't think that what Bernie is talking about can happen because basically it's just too racist out here, then why even try to do that? Like, basically saying like
cut your losses.
Like, the white people won't vote for Bernie because Bernie's talking about like sharing the wealth with everybody. Like, they would rather be like, nah, we're not giving them a Medicare and whatever you're talking about. We're gonna just ride with Trump then. So that's what, like, he was saying that there's a lot of people that feel that
it's
way.
like how the point you said on our chat was how healthcare, Medicare for all hasn't been a thing here because it's too racist. Like,
America's too racist to pass Medicare for all because the conceptualization of using a social program to give poor black people any kind of help.
Just everybody.
Not just everybody.
Fucking sad is that?
And I don't think
I don't think Bam even like necessarily agrees with this analysis so much. But like,
I just think that not necessarily like the population is so racist. Just the power establishment is just like, nah, we're not interested in that. Like in the same way that like Germany is like, yeah, we're down, sure, everybody should have healthcare, whatever. Even like the AFD is not trying to
not going to get rid of your healthcare.
Yeah, no,
they'll kick out immigrants.
Yeah, kick immigrants off your healthcare,
but they'll still give you health benefits and paid time leave.
Yeah, but like in America, it's just like
PTO on the Fourth Reich.
But
it's a lot of paperwork.
But maybe for them, they're not seeing like so many what they consider non-Germans.
They're going to Turkey for business.
Yeah. They don't see so many what they would deem as non-Germans benefiting from that program. No. The white power establishment in this country does not look at me and you as Americans.
Right. So like,
so they're not really interested in giving us that, those same benefits.
Well, there's like a similar argument that Democrats made on Bernie Sanders during the primary. That like, look, you say that Finland and Denmark and all these other countries have good healthcare and they have social welfare programs. Well, yes, because the reason they do is because they're homogenous socially, which means they're all white.
Somebody said that?
Yeah, Democrats. I don't remember, but Democrats.
No, dude, you gotta tell me who said that, dude.
I don't remember.
That's the most racist person I've ever heard. Who is this person?
This is a very common talking point that like
that's really sad.
This is a very common talking point that like because they have a homogenous culture.
Somebody that racist should not be on TV.
No, it called him.
Tell me it's Rush Limbaugh or something. Does he know the word homogenous?
Alex Jones. No, it's probably Steve Cornette. Like, I'm not gonna slander anyone, but like
I'm not gonna jump on anybody, but it might be Steve.
No, but like it's a milk toast talking point that it only works because the same kind of barriers where people are like, no, I won't give healthcare to the other don't exist because in these countries there is no other.
Yo, that's gonna make me cry. Okay, Dan,
I'm not gonna lie. That's because in Germany you get health. Everybody gets healthcare.
In every fucking country, everyone gets healthcare.
Okay, Dan.
I felt rage in my body.
Okay, Dan. I believe. I don't think you're lying, but please find me that somewhere. Not necessarily now.
I will.
But like, find me that person so I can blast how racist they are.
That is unbelievable.
Can you imagine?
Holy
but like, for a moment, I want to get.
Jesus, Bam's gonna go on like a 15 Twitter
Oh yeah,
spree.
like you're
I'm
so
just,
like.
This is the biggest Bam icon in the world.
That person is so unpatriotic because we're talking about citizenship, like excluding undocumented people for a second.
Yes,
we're talking about like citizens of this nation that everybody pays taxes into. Everybody like
social security card,
whatever. Like we're all. Did you find them?
I found one because I know this guy said it a lot.
Who?
Vox.com's own Matthew Iglesias.
Okay, well,
the co-founder.
I need to read that. I need to read that.
But here's the thing, like literally, if you Google just like any of those Scandinavian countries and then homogeneity or whatever like that phrase is, then you will actually get this is an argument that is in literature going back I guess you're gonna look at this at one point and go, oh wow, we were teaching like cranium measurements in the 70s.
Chronology.
I do like at some point want to get back to Warren's aspect of enlisted race.
She's out. We need to talk about who she's gonna endorse and why she's taking so long.
About. You know why she's taking so long.
She dropped out Wednesday.
She's trying to get the best. She's trying to get the best woman for her.
She dropped out Wednesday.
She dropped out after Super Tuesday.
It was Wednesday, correct?
Yeah.
So it's Saturday, and she still hasn't endorsed anybody.
She says she's trying to get the best deals right now.
She says she's thinking about
it. What is the better role in which administration?
Dan, how would you feel if she doesn't endorse Bernie? How would you feel personally?
Again, I don't like the framing of your question because I don't take any of this shit personally, and I think that's a problem with a lot of Bernie supporters and Liz supporters, and no one actually.
What would you think of her? Would you think?
No. Yeah, like I've said this, that I think that Warren. Her job at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, some people water that down. Some people say, like, look, she's fake. She's like incredible. And she's been like...
Absolutely. She deserves a lot of credit for that.
The Republican shit and being fugazi on some like forums in the past, like she's done a really good job at like actually... advocating for these things. She'd be throwing it all fucking away for advocating for Joe Biden, the same person that like
she got into
she grabbed
the wackest shit ever.
She grabbed with like a bike lock and pulled him out on the stage over credit card reform for like 2 debates straight, and then go endorse him. I mean, like, I'm not going to put it above Elizabeth Warren because Elizabeth Warren is a party person and will fall in line and did with Hillary Clinton when she had literally no need to. And Bernie is close to her ideologically, and even with their campaign season spats, I think that like they like want the best for each other as politicians. It makes sense for them to.
I think it's more of a competitive thing with them more than like them like actually having dislike.
I don't think it's competitive with Bernie.
I agree.
I mean, in terms of like a rivalry kind of thing.
A lot of those people that get to that level are very what do you call it? They're very ambitious. They're like very ambitious, and they're very like like I don't say self-concerned, but the person that's just like very want to achieve, like just never relax. Yeah. So like I wouldn't be so like. It would make me sad because it would just make me feel like it's another loss for progressive politics.
100%.
And like
it's a big voice.
No, it would mean that like Elizabeth Warren literally. She calls herself a progressive, but when it comes to the end of the day, which is what people are trying to say, capitalism versus socialism, she's a capitalist.
She shows stripes, and it, like for me, like I told them before, I'm like, to me it would just be like, wow, like that's another like snake in the grass. Like there was somebody.
Come on, dude. Why are you doing the Bernie Bros?
No, but I mean it is because the thing is, it's like this is somebody who was like campaigning their front lines for one side, but then when you go and support Biden, like you literally just like. Come on.
Would you feel a way that she
really
didn't endorse anybody?
Yes. Because like right now, Elizabeth Warren has power. She's the most like powerful party like surrogate right now. And whatever she says will have like an impact in important states, especially I think like the states in the Midwest are going to be voting soon.
Yes.
Those could go either way. It said that
scary.
Before like so the prior to going into this is that if Warren jumps out of the race, it's about a 50-50 split between her supporters going to Biden and to Bernie. So Warren's opinion on those two candidates could make a difference.
Yeah, especially with how close they are.
I mean, like, if Elizabeth Warren should be respecting this decision. If she wants to go on ESPN and do the decision and sit somewhere like a broken down GM plant somewhere outside of Flint and just be like, Chris Matthews, I've made my decision.
I'm taking my talents.
Retired.
I'm taking my talents to Vermont.
Yeah. I'm taking my talents to the guillotine.
Taking my talents to Ukraine. Gonna meet with the Biden son. It's gonna be great.
We're talking about oil. We're talking about some petrol and gas.
Yeah. So like, no, Warren, her endorsement does matter. If she makes no endorsement, it's the one thing that's not as bad as endorsing Biden. But like it's like the one step below it.
Yeah, it's barely a step.
Yeah.
But because I've heard that she's talking about like waiting until the nominee is made, and then she's just gonna go hard.
Warren just cares about women so much that she's holding out her endorsement so that she can endorse Tulsi Gabbard
with 2 delegates.
Gives her a total of 13.
You know who else I'm kind of annoyed with too is, I mean, whatever, but like Andrew Yang kind of had like a lot of like grassroots support. And a few celebrities were like rocking with Yang Gang. I think it was Fugazi because I think they just trying to like be apolitical by supporting Andrew Yang. Yeah. But although I guess he's working on CNN now, so maybe he doesn't want to endorse anybody. I don't know what like the real reason is. But
and he also just to add context, he's starting a foundation that's like privately funded and through himself to try to like advocate for the policies he was talking about. In addition to involving more Asian Americans in the political process. So like he's got that going on the side too.
Identity politics. I'm just joking. So I would like for him to make an endorsement as well because. Yeah. Come on, dude! Like Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, Pete Buttigieg won Iowa. No, he endorsed Biden the next. Like
this is kind of the point is that like the establishment side, they're lockstep. They have one conference call and they're like, all right, you do this, you do this, you do this, great, and they do it.
Yeah, like what's up with these other people?
Look how hard Klobuchar was going against Biden in the debates, and now she's like, cool.
Go vote for Biden.
No, because like at the end of the day, it's like we're on the side of Capitol, no one else.
We're on the side of the elite, the establishment.
It's really weird. Like you're seeing even more division within the Democratic Party in this situation because like when you're able to like just all come together real quick and just join up to go against. Here's
a question I have actually for everybody. If Biden is the eventual nominee, what do you think is the state of the Democratic Party going forward?
It's over.
Do you think it's like
over, dude?
It's over because if Joe Biden's the nominee, Trump's going to win really by above 380 delegates, and the Democratic Party is going to do that soul searching thing. Right? But like, no, like the Democratic Party is going to do that soul searching thing. Like, remember, never forget when after 2012, Republicans got in a room after the inauguration, we're like, we need to figure out how to appeal to Latino and Latina voters. Trump happens. But like,
never mind.
No, like the Democrats are gonna do that soul searching, and they're gonna turn around and have a meeting, and they're gonna be realized it's a crater because like all the people who have passion about the Democratic Party are gonna be like riding on Bernie Sanders till he turns to dust, and like they're gonna start another political party there. All the establishment people are going to be a laughing stock because they ran Hillary and Biden against them. The Republicans are gonna get horny as shit.
They're gonna take it back to House, dude. It's gonna
be bad. Like it'll be like definitely like
no, like legit. We should move.
Yeah. Like I'm not kidding. Like, no,
I'm not either.
RBG, notorious RBG is on her last leg.
Oh yeah, they're gonna die soon.
They're like he's gonna nominate. So I'm trying to think like
Herman Cain.
Herman Cain for the Supreme Court.
Like he's gonna nominate. Sean Hannity is gonna be a Supreme Court judge.
If that happens, I'll tweet out I quit.
Like no, like it's gonna be really bad. Like
Democrat
Trump's gonna be. Trump's going to be destroyed.
Jeff
Biden.
Sessions, Supreme Court.
Like when Joe Biden is on that debate stage with Donald Trump, we're all going to be watching it like not rooting for Trump, but like laughing at it, like laughing with Trump at Biden.
You know what
like,
we're gonna be like
watching, get him, Trump,
get him, because we're gonna be like, look what y'all did.
We told you so.
This dude king.
I did the same thing against when Hillary. In 2016, I was saying the same thing because people were like, oh no, Hillary's got this locked down. Watch, she's not gonna lose.
Hillary is going to surgically eviscerate them.
I'm like, dude,
she's too much of a record.
One of the most flawed candidates in political history.
She's one of the most hated. She's unpopular.
And I'm like,
for 20 years.
Yeah, I'm like, you're like, that's just gonna not work. And I like when that happened. I love seeing everybody with the tail between their legs and stuff.
But to be honest with you, I watched those 3 debates, and she didn't do bad. No, but she was just too smug, and it was just
she's way too. Everybody was
very arrogant and smug,
fucking cocky.
Yeah, and like.
And that's the way that's the same kind of mindset that's powering Joe Biden. Right now. And there's a little bit of it in Warren's campaign, but I think that's just truly grassroots. I think there's like, this is my one thing. I'm going to try to keep it brief because I can go into a large thing. But like, there's a lot of Warren supporters out there who heavily took their identity and made that as like the thing that tied them to the Warren campaign. Their identity.
I 100% agree. I heard
like,
somebody on Democracy Now! Doing that a lot, and she was pissing me off.
You know, there's a lot of even people I know, relatives did the same damn thing. So they were all upset when she when she withdrew her campaign. Then they were just, you could tell that they're
like mad at Bernie
thing. Yeah,
they're like, why does a woman have to drop? It's like it's
exactly.
It's automatically assuming that people's. I said the top of this podcast. Yes, reason number one is there's a lot of sexism, but it's automatically assuming that all of everyone's reasoning against Elizabeth Warren is purely based and she's a woman.
Here's another thing. No one ever says that Bernie Sanders is a Jew. You know how anti-Semitic people are. How fucking crazy bad anti-Semitic. No one ever brings up that he would be the first Jewish president.
Someone literally had a Nazi flag at his rally, and they didn't talk about it on MS. They didn't talk about it on cable news for an entire night.
No,
if
that sucks.
Like
he had family members that died.
If someone were burning a cross at a Kamala Harris rally, or someone were talking about burning witches at a Klobuchar or a Warren rally, or someone were doing like anti-gay shit at a Buttigieg rally, Fox News alerts, CNN.
It'd be bad.
They put Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper in tight black shirts in like South Bend, Indiana, going like, "We're gonna be talking."
They definitely mobilize all the troops for that. They would go hard.
But then when
that sucks, I didn't know
shit drops the Nazi like
Bernie has to do his own press conference live streamed on YouTube, getting super chat,
comment chats in. All right, $3 donation from Jim in Seattle.
It's disgusting.
$5. Oh, we got a $5 comment from Mick in Michigan. Says Nazis are no bueno, sad face. Yeah. Well, I agree.
No, from Steve 420
$100 super chat. Debate Sam Cedar. Debate Sam Cedar.
When you're gonna be on JRE again?
So like,
I know a lot of Warren supporters, and I honestly, on some of, I consider myself a Warren supporter too. I like.
Was my second choice.
Yeah, like easily.
I always said like that was either one win. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't say Biden.
And another thing with the woman thing, like I think obviously there's sexism is rampant.
Yeah.
But let's also not forget that Hillary won by 3 million votes. Like she won the popular vote.
Yeah.
So like
the idea that that people don't want a female president, that's abolished essentially. If you're talking about population of people,
more people voted for her.
We voted for her.
Another question I had that I actually had in the chat was, are we gonna just go like?
Go ahead, get a crack.
Bring your super chat question.
Here's my thing. As a personal thing, I prefer direct democracy to a representative democracy. Do you guys agree?
No. Okay. This entire process, and I'll keep it brief, but like this entire process of caucusing and primaries and people watching the debates and just like not knowing basic facts.
Yeah.
I trust people's hearts and opinions are in the right places, mainly because those hearts and opinions and exit polls align with me and that America's hardcore communist. But I don't agree in that. I don't trust them to make the right decisions because there is no way for people.
Dictator Dan.
Because there is no way. No.
You don't know humans.
There is no apparatus that exists. What are we gonna do? Okay, direct democracy time. Make sure you tune into Fox News. They're gonna tell you all about the latest things you're going to be voting on the ballot. Yeah. And then once you know, you're going to go into the voting booth and make actual fucking decisions.
Holy shit.
No way.
Scary.
Well, because here's the thing.
What are we going to do?
The only democracy on earth is Switzerland, right? Like, that's the only, like, true direct democracy.
I'm sure there's people there complaining too, though.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing that I like in their country is when they have a really big thing that gets voted on, like, in their Congress and stuff, it goes down to the people. So, example, like you have...
So everything's a referendum?
It's more like it's like California's propositions.
It's like that, but that's but it's the entire country.
Jesus Christ.
So it's like if you have a example like Medicare for All turns into a bill and it gets voted on, that would go down to the people.
The thing is,
but they also everybody has to own a gun too.
Yes, and everybody has to go.
Like they all have to own a gun.
Yeah, and everybody has to because they're also because
they build their culture in their own way.
Yeah. Wouldn't that effectively abolish the whole system we do for voting presidents also though?
No,
because how can you have a delegate system for presidential but then you have actual like propositions going on and nationwide but like that doesn't go into account based on the size of the states?
I'm not going to argue with you because our system makes no sense and I'm not going to take the opinion.
I'm just like, wait a minute. Our system is so broken and stupid that doesn't make sense. And it was warned from the beginning of our fucking country that said, don't make political parties. Don't do this shit.
I wasn't there.
I like what you're saying. Like, I feel what you're saying, but I don't think that the representative versus direct democracy is the problem as much as it's like people benefit from lying. Like, you can benefit from spreading non-truths.
100%.
So so since that's the case, like. Yeah, then it's hard to have direct democracy
because then you never know what kind of clout.
Yeah, because like
that'd be so bad.
You know, just let somebody.
Bloomberg just decide to pay fuck Jerry and say, hey, Proposition B that says it's going to cause a wealth tax will actually make it so you can't have big gulp sodas anymore. All right.
Like,
so 99%.
No, I love my big gulps.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it will be really easy to manipulate people.
Yeah.
Because and with our system. So, but if you change that,
if you change the complete system,
there's a lot that has to change for it to be.
That's what I'm saying. Would you in general? Like,
I don't have a problem
in a perfect world.
I think direct democracy is perfect if you have the right structure in place. And
that's what I was getting
at. The right mindset. But like, what our current state of what is happening now and happened 2016, Lord hell no.
Yeah.
Do not trust us Americans with that.
If we can get if we're able to make it so like on Facebook or YouTube, everyone got like non-biased like political information on everything, and it was like interesting enough for people to pay attention to it.
And news outlets weren't able to just like feed any kind of like
there are regulations on what like you can have analysis in a certain way, but like.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Because in other countries, the news is completely different. As well, like it's. I know how it is. Yeah, in Switzerland, like the Germanic nations, their news is like 8 minutes long. It's literally just fact, and that's it. No opinion pieces, nothing. But not like how it is.
But I mean, like even then, like just where this like it is here, and the rest of the world, that way of doing cable news is irrelevant. And when you go online, even in Switzerland, it's open season.
Yeah.
But
they don't have like 4 networks dominating the.
Yeah, but the mass would. Like the majority of it too, because also it boils down to the way that their campaigns are run and stuff too. Because like example, other different political parties and stuff at different countries are completely different than here. Because here's a balloon show. Because you talk to people who are watching outside from the U.S., they're like, "What the fuck is your political process?"
The two-party system versus the parliamentary process. I get it, but and it also. It would change the incentives to where, like in California, for example, I, at least as a voter, maybe I'm not a representative, but when I see there's a bunch of propositions, I go, oh shit, time to read up about all these propositions. Which one's a bond for this? Which one's a tax for this? Like, I definitely could know a little bit more about all of them, but as a voter, knowing that these are decisions and it's also like taxpayer money, I do... spend at least like I'd say maybe an average of 5 minutes on each one if there's like 5 or 10 of them. So like
I'll just be like, what does DSA say, and I'll just do that.
And that's the thing is like
because I know their politics line up with me for the most part.
Yeah, you then go to voter guides from political organizations that you align with your politics and you trust. But even those, like, I think that's a good guide to go off of. But even
sometimes you can disagree with it and whatnot. There's little nuances with that,
and that's actually a great example where you talk about democracy. Because remember the whole rent one? That was a big discussion point in California.
The rent control.
The rent control. Think about the discussion. I mean, there was 2 people saying this. There was either this is great or this is terrible, and you can imagine that like being on a nationwide thing, like lower.
Well, you know how much money the real estate people spent to get that.
Which is why, like in direct democracy world, if on TV, in this case it's not Bloomberg, it's your landlord. The person you're paying, like, hey, I decided to raise your rent $50 so I could move that $50 into an ad campaign to make sure they don't make sure that they don't stop me from raising your rent.
Rent control,
So, like, there was like a carbon tax. I think it was in Washington. They were introducing I guess it was Inslee wanted to make a carbon tax, and they were saying that they spent like the fossil fuel people spent like hundreds of millions of dollars just in Washington to fight against that carbon tax.
Because that ad campaign is way cheaper than actually paying the carbon tax.
It's an investment. Like Bloomberg.
Yeah. So I mean,
investment, homie.
And that's another thing too. Like,
that's crazy.
I mean, this is somewhat random, but like one thing I'll always give Obama credit for is when they passed Citizens United, he got out there and spoke against it. Like he was like, yo, this is fucked up, dude. Like, and he had like I don't want to say analysis necessarily. He probably wasn't going that deep into it, but I saw things where he was speaking out against it, and things like that. Like those decisions are what take away from democracy. Like when you're using money to buy influence.
You get money out of politics.
Yeah, and like things
really
like was it Buckley versus Vallejo and
using
Citizens
money,
United is like
money for influence, especially like
I always say that Citizens United is fascism. Like that's
100%,
fascism.
100%.
Like
cute title though.
Yeah, I remember when I first heard Citizens United, I thought like, is that really what they're fucking calling this?
It's 1984 shit, really.
Yeah,
like they just don't care.
Yeah.
Dead ass.
And that's
like our podcast.
No, like it's
Our podcast. This is United Podcast.
we can get some of that. We can get that right wing gravy train.
Oh man,
They're not listening to us. They don't give a damn. They're just gonna give us
It
money.
could be if you call it that.
Coke money's gonna roll in
Yeah,
right
hell
now.
yeah, shit.
Welcome back. This is
Citizens United for Liberty.
United.
There you go. There you go. This guy knows.
Okay.
CUSA.
We have a couple more topics here, but I think the most prescient one, and I think the one that will like spark an interesting conversation, it's based off of where Sean was starting, which is like, what would get people organically more involved in the political process? Because right now you have, and what's an argument with Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders is like saying, look, I understand socialism in America is a hill to climb, but I'm not even framing it in socialism. I'm framing it as, hey, wouldn't you as a union worker like these better things? Yes, I agree with that. But believe that, like, yes, I'm like, but like, believe that if you deserve something that everyone does as your like underlying philosophy, and then go, hey, your healthcare sucks, let's make it cheaper at the point of sale. But like Bernie's argument is that by convincing people to rethink of this in a different framing, he will pull in a voter base that was previously not wanting to actually vote at all because they're too like unbothered by the political process at all, because they saw two sides of the same coin. Now, if you were running for president, what would you do to expand your voter base right now?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess you just have to run on your principles and like what you believe in, and
That's
like,
really it.
yeah. I mean, I don't think
mean, how that just goes to how do you run a fucking campaign?
No. Because I think a lot of people look at a thing you need to stop cracking your knuckles near the microphone.
his toes.
He's cracking his toes and ankles so much.
No, it's not my toes, it's my ankle.
I didn't get
But
it.
it pops with my ligament.
You can't do that near the microphone.
I don't care what ligament, don't pop it.
But the thing you were getting at earlier, which is like inside the psyche of the older black voter, and like there is a younger black voter who's like disenfranchised or disaffected, who's like, these politicians don't do shit for me.
Hardy.
And there's people who are of the older stripe of politics who is like, I've seen what the radicals try. The radicals get all these people together. They're really excited about this thing, and it goes fucking nowhere because the machine is so much bigger than they don't know.
It's just hard.
So they lose hope. And so it's like, I'm talking to, how do you run a campaign where you like give people not that Obama hope, but like we're gonna get in there and not just vote you in, but actually like fuck shit up.
You know what I think I would do is talk about apathy. Like talk about like what is the like that apathy is a disease, and like what's the consequences of apathy. Like if you're apathetic but you're a decent person, then the bad people win because
100%.
you know, like that's
You're letting them win without speaking up.
You're giving it up for them if you're apathetic, but you're also a decent person. They're terrible people and they're motivated,
100%.
so you got to be motivated too. Like if you're, especially like a young black person, like I would be like, okay, like if you think nothing matters, like first of all, like a lot of shit matters because wherever you live or whatever, okay, there's potholes, you don't want them to be there, like that's politics. If there's no potholes, then that's politics. Somebody cared.
Yep.
So like you have to speak to that.
Or Domino's cared. Because you know Domino's Pizza was filling potholes.
I heard about
Fucking rough.
that. And there was some group in Oregon that was like filling potholes, like a public group.
Shout out Domino's, Pop John's.
I think that you have
Little
to.
Caesars.
I think you have
Pothole.
I think you have to speak to the apathy and like really address it in a way that people can be like, oh damn, like that he's talking about me, and like, you know what? Let me get off my ass. Obviously, I was doing FDS that like it was about apathy, like just trying to get rid of that because these people on the other side, they're ready to go. And they're ready to make it into Mad Max world, and we're fighting for like sand to eat. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's a bar.
I think
that's very much a bar.
I think that's what you got to do to expand your voter base.
address apathy?
I think, running on populism is the biggest thing too, because that's how Trump riled up an entire base too, was because of populist ideas. Because whenever you run on that, and that is one thing that will always rile up you, and say, hey, I'm going against what all these people have been doing for the past 30 years in politics. I'm the odd one out. I'm not like these other elitists and stuff. Get me someone who's going to upset the established order and stuff. Yeah. That's obviously one way to do it too, which is partially what Bernie's doing, running on populist ideas. That's what Trump's entire campaign was on populist ideas, and it's one of the biggest things to get a big ass turnout.
If there was a system in which there could be actual because I'm looking at the TV model of things. If they do these debates, if there was a system that would have a verification process for statements live, that'd be pretty cool. Let's say a candidate next to me says something like this, and it's an aunt shows up you said there 30 minutes or
you said you were arrested in South Africa.
Yeah. I'm
you
saying
voted on
I just think
Iraq
that the way Americans are operating nowadays, everything needs to be so simple simple. It needs to be simple, and it needs to be in their eyeballs. It can't be in this. They don't like cleverly worded things. They don't like rambles. They don't like that. They like Trump.
Donald Trump has lied 10,000 times. Pinocchio.
All Trump sentences are 7 words. There's 7-word sentences.
Exactly.
He's just saying hit points and moving his hands like this. If I was I'd be a research scientist too. He's being a goofball.
Another thing too is you literally have to restructure the entire education system in America.
But can we just think about what's crazy? When Obama was here, he was dropping these insane poetic speeches. I was this is the most beautiful damn thing I've ever heard in my life.
A different
35 minutes. And then Trump comes, it's these crazy rallies. I'm wow, we've done a 180. So
it's a different
people are following the Democratic model. It's over. That shit's over now.
People are tired of everybody sounding like a politician, because they say people are they don't speak like
Trump
normal
is going to get away
peoples.
with some stuff because he's white.
That too.
He's going to get away with
And also another thing is people started to normalize it because that's just Trump.
Yeah, because
the same thing. Oh, that's this candidate.
He's just doing his thing.
The thing about the lie detector thing that I was joking about with Washington Post is that there are people who Washington Post is democracy dies in darkness, and if you don't have Amazon Prime, because that's our owner. But they're if they've been tracking all of Trump's lies, and it just doesn't matter because people don't care. So I think this conversation is good in getting what people care at. I think that you have to address apathy, you have to address populist causes, but I think you straight need to tell people, it comes a time every 100. This is the thing that Bernie shouldn't say until he's absolutely got the nomination, because it's wild. We should say there comes a time every 100 years or so where we got to do a little bit of economic reorganizing. Hey, we had to do a little bit of trust busting in the 1900s because the robber barons got a little bit too uppity.
I don't think that's bad.
At their wealth. It's real talk. Because
FDR.
Because
make a wish.
Because it's 1616. It's almost 1420. Make a wish. No, but I really think that the next person who wins has to say it's I want to solve this shit before the guillotines are necessary.
Yeah.
But y'all need to understand that. I think you understand the guillotines are necessary, but no one's actually said that.
Yeah. His if it's down to the wire for him, his approach needs to be look, do you really give a fuck? Do you care?
Do you really
or do you only care when you're suffering? Because when you're suffering, you're gonna come crying. It's gonna be too damn late.
Or do you still think you're a temporarily inconvenienced millionaire, or do you actually realize that they're just telling you that shit so you don't come after them?
Yeah. Or, I mean, it's they. What's annoying is that people that aren't voting for Bernie or whatever, not saying vote for who you want, of course, Democratic side, but it's do you enjoy people lying to you? It seems it's you're just being lied to so much about how much they care about you, but they're passing all this stuff, especially during elections, secretly they're passing bills that are not helping Americans at all during this time.
I think there's also a really negative connotation with the word taxes in America. And I think Reagan and them did a great job in making the word taxes so dirty Like,
because look how it was before in the 50s. The taxes were way different.
Like 90% or some shit.
Yeah, and look how great because I always say, make America great again. I'm like, well, make it in the 50s when people were taxed the shit out of, and that's how you make the entire freeway system.
Let's relax.
Taxes are low. 50s. Jobs, unemployment rate is low.
Back to the 50s.
I don't either. Fuck the McCarthyism. I'd get hanged.
Unemployment rate's low. Taxes are low. I'm just saying, it looks like Trump fixed the country.
As you can see on camera from his phone, he's not looking at that. He's on OnlyFans.
He's on his own OnlyFans. Subscription.
Scrolling his Ubu, like, yeah, everything looks good.
No, I think that's another thing too. Like, because that's another thing they hit Bernie with. Well, are you going to raise taxes? Are you going to raise taxes in the middle class? You have
to frame it in a different way too, because you could say, hey, look.
So that's such a sensitive word.
Example, Medicare for all. You could say because people are like, you're going to raise your taxes, but you can say you save money because you don't have to pay to a middleman who is essentially a fucking tax.
It's basically. There's another thing too. Like, I mean, this is somewhat random too. There's a part of me that wished that they wouldn't say Medicare for all and just say universal health care.
Yeah,
no? Is that a thing?
Because the reason why Medicare for all worked is because
Medicare.
Medicare is a very popular program that people already like. And again, like Steve said, Americans pretty dumb. So if you say for all, then like it's just like the thing that everyone likes.
Universal healthcare. They're like, what is universal?
And like universal highways.
Oh, is it run by Universal Studios?
Someone would honestly ask that.
I hate to think that Americans are so dumb. Honestly, I just hate to think that.
I'm sorry.
It makes me sad.
What's the mean?
No, listen. I'm for Disney care for all who can afford it.
Like, it just
Tesla's gonna come out with new healthcare. We got this, y'all.
Think of Americans when we went into Iraq. Like, where's Iraq?
Oh yeah, they're straight pointing to Ukraine. Like, where's Iraq?
Yeah, we're talking about geography. Americans are definitely top tier idiots on geography. Like, absolutely.
And we're even better in economics.
Because, Bam, you say here you're all sad that Americans are so stupid. Because, again, one of my biggest points too is you have to redo the entire educational system here because
we teach our kids line dancing instead of math.
Straight up they did it. And that I'm like, because a lot of the things I learned is from outside things out of school because this shit was ridiculous, so I would read things outside of school, read books, whatever.
Even in college I felt like I only actually learned in like 5 classes.
And one of my biggest classes was foreign language.
And I think people were talking about the education we're kind of going up, but like you feel like you're just repeating. America's education has always felt like every new, elementary school, middle school, high school, college. You feel like you're just repeating everything you learned before. Like, you are here, we're doing this again, and then until you get to like your graduate studies, and you're like, whoa, like I'm just either writing a whole lot or I'm learning some new shit. Like,
it's a failed system. You're not completely different.
We're trying to help you critically think.
So different.
We're trying to make you critical thinkers.
Any person that goes to college in another country, they're so smart.
Yeah.
Like if they made it to college, which is like a big privilege in a lot of places, but like any like kind of developing nation, if they went to college, they'll talk to you about all these philosophers and all kinds of stuff, because, like from high school.
Well,
and they know like 4 languages.
Yeah.
Here we're just like, what do you mean?
Because, like, example, you have the
Donde está la biblioteca?
I took Spanish 4 years. Oh my god.
Yeah. Because, example, you have your GE systems in college, university here. In other countries, you don't have GEs. Like, I know
they're like, why GE? You took that for 12 years in school.
I know in there's a couple countries where you have an extra grade right after high school, and that's all your GEs, and the next one, and then or you could do trades instead.
Yeah, well, here they're just trying to make money, so they're just like, oh, you got to do GEs. So
like,
stay in there 2 years, drop in 60 Gs.
You don't have to work as a mechanic here. You don't really need any licenses officially compared to other countries where you have to go to an actual registered mechanic, work for them for a certain amount of years until they allow you to take a test to become a registered mechanic.
Like an apprenticeship.
There's a complete apprenticeship.
So it's like
there's none of that here. So that's why you always have to go to a guy who knows a guy to get some shit. And it's so much stuff.
I think making that connection to people that like, yo, like outside, like other countries look inside of America and they're like, wait, what? Y'all really do shit this way? I think just talking to people and saying like there's a totally different way of doing the normal things we do, and other countries are fine.
But you know
one important thing.
But the thing against that, not that it's my argument, but a lot of people say, well, but then why do they all want to come here?
That's wrong.
Well, no, but people want to
come here because they have an image in their head of the America the Great, America the Free country.
And also, like,
that's like a 90s narrative, to be honest.
No, I mean, but I'm not saying that it's true, but people still say that.
No, because people also, it is people.
Well, Americans say that.
But America's cool though. We've monopolized.
We have LeBron James.
We have Wiz Khalifa. We're fucking cool.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Anyways,
I hope someone didn't say that.
It's more driven. You can reframe it by saying it's more driven by capitalism and the fact that like if you work in many fields and you specialize in many fields with your fancy degree in another country, turns out the only place to get a job for that thing is headquartered in the United States.
Yeah. And you can go anywhere around the world, but every other company that's thriving in the country always goes like,
it's also a cultural thing with America too, because America's culture has such a big impact on other countries. I think that's why.
I mean, we're the coolest country.
I mean, straight up, because people are like, oh, look how cool.
Here.
What cap? But everybody's like, this is such a cool place to live. This is such the culture, everything here. So that's why they want to come in, because they see it online. They see it with all these celebrities and shit.
All the dances come from here,
right? But then the other thing too is if you're in an impoverished country, you could go, okay, I'm escaped, like Latin America. They're like, I have no other option other than to come up, because I'm literally, my family's getting killed. I have all this other problems, and that's one way to. That's my only hope, is to come up. And that's how obviously America was
going to Canada,
built. Exactly. Just keep going north and just play hockey instead of football, and you'll do a lot better in your life.
What is going on? I don't know what the last sentence was about, but I cool.
I'm
a hockey player.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's because fuck.
I'm gonna pause right here. This has been quite a podcast where we had a lot of the experience.
We got the hockey. It's time to go.
No, I think that was really good. We'll have to talk about Russiagate another time.
No.
We're already an hour into this. Come on, let's let the folks go.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
If you like, no. It seems like we have a cliffhanger here. We don't know how the rest of March is going to go. We don't know if there'll be a nominee.
Tuesday's the next primaries, no?
Yeah, there's going to be primaries basically every Tuesday until like April, and then there'll be a bit of a break. But
what's the next debate?
March 15th.
Sunday.
March 15th. I can't wait. Joe Biden's going to get coronavirus.
It's going to be a duo.
If he gets coronavirus, you know he's going to be one of those people that die.
They're going to give him sympathy votes.
No. If Bernie or Joe Biden gets coronavirus, they're going to die.
No, Biden, yeah. Oh my God. Biden's going to accuse Bernie of having coronavirus, and they're going to be like, why'd you say that? He's like, I said that?
No, he's going to say, wait, what's coronavirus?
No, Joe Biden's going to get a question.
What's going on?
Joe Biden's going to get a question. His, like, eye blood vessel is popping. He's like, smell toast.
When the liver's pot, he's gonna be like, didn't I vote against that in 84?
Guys, it's a hoax. We just get $8 billion to a hoax.
Like Klobuchar and Buttigieg are just doing weekend at Biden's. They're just like holding up the corpse right
there. That's hilarious.
Think you can on the Leisure World.
Anyways, this has been the podcast. We will have probably some type of recap.
The 1616 podcast.
We'll have some recap of what goes on.
Is a cool name, in real life. 1620 for you.
I call it dirty for 30, but no, not okay.
Stop.
Feminism. Okay, well, we can end there and talk about it. Check out We Made It Podcast on all podcast platforms. Check out Audioface Podcast. Nah, fuck them. Check out
Dan from the Internet on YouTube talking about Diamond and Silk's weaves.
Gotta tap the brakes on that a little bit. Check out We Made It Seeds for streaming content, all that kind of stuff. Making so much more money than all of us.
The only one making money.
I'm not gonna say. Like you guys, like Bloomberg said, my taxes take a while to formulate. It's big. It's bigger like you, Warren. You're broke. I got money. It just takes a while.
Listen,
there's somewhere in America, Samoa. The papers is coming.
You go to H&R Block. I talk to Chuck. All right, we're totally
different. Just go to H&R Block for my taxes, okay?
You gotta take a flight to the Cayman Islands.
You gotta go to Panama, the Panama Papers, and then kind of you figure it out, you know.
Can't do my taxes.
Dublin, Denmark, Delaware, all of them.
Yeah, all of these.
Delaware for sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Where's Joe Biden from? Yeah, bye.
Peace.